On the news tonight, Tribunal adjourns Atiku's petition as INEC APC prepare response. Supreme Court adjourns Nnamdi Kanu's case to September 14. And Nigeria's oil production hit 7-month low. Well, many thanks for joining us on News Now. I am Folashade Ogurinde. The Presidential Election Petition Court PEPC sitting in Abuja on Thursday has adjourned for the proceedings on the joint petition the People's Democratic Party PDP and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar filed to challenge the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. The Justice Aruna Tsamani-led 5-member panel adjourned the petition till May 18 for the continuation of the pre-hearing session. Just like that of Peter Obi and the Labour Party, Atiku's petition was adjourned at the instance of lawyers in the matter to enable them to put their house in order on various issues relating to the petition. His lead counsel, Chris Uche, informed the court that all the lawyers jointly agreed to next Thursday's return date to allow their teams to sort out documents to be tendered during the hearing of the petition. While still on judicial matters, the Supreme Court has again adjourned the hearing in a suit filed by the leader of the outlawed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, until September the 14th. During Thursday's proceedings, the Apex Court granted the application of Abubakar Malami, Attorney General of the Federation, to file additional processes in response to Kanu's filing, which was done on Tuesday. The Apex Court said even if it proceeds to hear the appeal, there is no space within its calendar to write and deliver the verdict within the 90-day deadline. On November the 3rd, 2022, the IPOB leader had filed an appeal at the Supreme Court against the Court of Appeal's verdict stopping its release from the DSS custody. This comes after the Court of Appeal on October the 28th, 2022 granted a stay of execution on its verdict which discharged Kanu of terrorism charges filed against him by the federal government. Well, now more stories. The Vice President Yemi Osinbajo just presided over the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting in the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja, where some federal ministry memo was approved by the council. Garba Shehu, the senior special assistant to the president, in a brief to newsmen said the funds have been made available for the ministries to execute their various projects within the country. Our correspondent Sydney Okafor has more details in this report.
Nigeria's aviation sector is set to get a boost following a recent approval of 449.9 million naira for the engagement of consultants for the development of master plan for 17 airports in Nigeria. An additional sum of 3.4 billion was approved as post-contract consultancy fee for the construction of a second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
The FEC approved 449.9 million for the engagement of consultants for the development of airport master plan for 17 airports in Nigeria. If you want to confirm if your city is there, I will give you the list after the briefing. The Council also approved a contract for post-contract consultancy amounting to 3.4 billion naira for the construction consultancy, post-contract consultancy for the construction of the second runway and the associated facilities at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja.
Nigeria remains Africa's largest automobile market with an average annual growth rate of 3% over the last decade. To boost the growth, the Federal Executive Council adopted a new national automotive policy that will span through 2023 to 2033. The objective of the policy, according to the Minister of Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, is to explore how the automotive industry can migrate seamlessly from combustible engines into electrical solar power engines.
The whole idea is to bring it up to date with current realities, also to put our auto industry on a proper footing. As you're all aware, Nigeria has capacity today to assemble 400,000 vehicles, but the kind of assembly that is in process today is that of semi-knockdown parts. And what we have put in place is to give confidence to the original equipment manufacturers of motor vehicles, that confidence to come and actually manufacture completely knocked down vehicles in the country.
The council also approved operational and management concession for 360 megawatts Gurara 2 multipurpose dam and hydropower plant and the 40 megawatt Kashima-Bila hydropower plant. The target is to generate 400 megawatts of electricity as well as a total revenue generation of 647.7 billion.
Is the concession for the operation and maintenance of the proposed Gurara 2 360 megawatts hydropower project, which is about to commence. The project was previously approved by Council in 2019. It's ready to take off. It comprises of a dam, a 360 megawatt hydropower project, and 2,400 hectares of irrigation in the first instance, and it is situated in Niger State.
The minister explained that the project was financed majorly by the Export-Import Bank of China with a 15% equity contribution each by the contractor Messrs. Limited and the federal government. Sydney Okafor, TV360 News, Abuja.
Efforts by the federal government to designate Imo State as an oil and gas-free trade zone has gathered momentum. This comes as the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, flagged off the dredging of the Oguta-Orashi waterways linking the Atlantic Ocean from Imo State. Speaking at the event, Governor of the state, Hope Uzodinma, says that dredging has become necessary considering a lot of criminal activities going on in that area. He also explained that his government has decided to partner with the Nigerian Navy to clean up the channel from Oguta Lake, which will attract economic prosperity for the state and the entire country at large.
I am confident and optimistic that the people of Southeast will experience economic boom when this project is fully realized. This will manifest not only in increased trade activities, but also in the form of additional employment opportunities for citizens of Imo State and indeed the Southeast region as a whole. What we are doing here today is to sow the seeds of unquantifiable employment and economic opportunities for the future. And this project alone can make the Southeast region a robust, self-sufficient economy. And there is no better time to do this than a time like this, when our economy is in urgent need of diversification.
This proposed free trade zone has one of the largest hydrocarbon deposits in the country. Again, this is another clear winner. The synergy between the dredge sea route will deliver enormous commercial benefits. Also, with the dredging project, the Navy will be better equipped to protect our coastlines, thereby curbing crude oil theft and illegal bunkering and other criminal activities that appear to have taken advantage of the very difficult terrain for the operational use of naval platforms. A secure environment paves the way for thriving business and increased revenue for all parties, including states and the federal government. As improved access to the sea stimulates exports and imports, the coastal communities in these parts will be better positioned to reap the benefits of increased trade and income. And there is no better time to have set this in motion than now.
Let's now head back to the story where the Supreme Court adjourned Nnamdi Kanu's case to September the 14th. And to unpack this further, Evan Tufeli, legal expert and political affairs analyst, joins me now. Thank you very much, as always, for joining us. Now, Kanu has been in detention since he was brought back from Kenya on June the 19th, 2021. And that makes it 2 years since his trial has gone on now. What does the law say about duration of trials, especially for terrorism charges?
Yes, it's been some years now. He was rearrested to face the charges have been preferred before him, before he left the country, where the soldiers had invaded his community. Now, the trial has gone for too long. He ought to have been on bail. That is supposed to be the position of the law. And then he will come to court whenever he's required to do so. But he has not been granted that bail for several reasons, some of which were that he jumped bail at the first instance. And I find that very wrong. Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail. Why he went, okay? So right now, he's sick and is in detention, okay? He's in detention now. His lawyer is pleading before the court that this man is sick. He should be transferred from the DSS detention center to the Kuje Correctional Facility so that he can attend to his health, so that he can be subjected to, he has been approved for surgery. Okay, what is expected of the court is to heed to that by virtue of the evidence that have been proffered before the court. But that the Supreme Court is saying that the court is saying that they should go on prayers, that God will save him, that he will not die, that God will protect his life and all that. I find that very ridiculous. He is a citizen. Nnamdi Kanu is a citizen of Nigeria. He has all the rights and privileges that every other persons enjoy in the country. Howbeit that he's standing a criminal trial for treason does not in any way derogate on that fundamental human rights, okay, which he ordinarily should enjoy by virtue of being a human being. But the state have not only denied him of that right, but the state has all gone into a prayer session, okay, which I find very hypocritical, okay. This is an offense, we know, but he has not been found guilty of the offense. It is an alleged offense that he committed an offense. No court has convicted him.
Well,
okay, so
where do we go from here now with regards to enforcing these human rights issues that you've raised?
You said what? I didn't get
Where
that.
do we go from here? Who has the responsibility of enforcing these human rights issues that you've raised?
Yeah, it is a court that should enforce it based on the application of the defense counsel, Mike Ezekoma, SAN, who have brought before the court a motion for bail, okay, so that the court will grant Nnamdi Kanu bail. Okay, the court is supposed to yield to that effect, that on grounds of health, he's no longer fit to be in the DSS detention, which is more like a dungeon. Okay, it's not even saying they should free Nnamdi Kanu. Say, take him away from that detention center, transfer him to the Kuje Correctional Center, which is still a prison, so that from there they can attend to his health, and he has been approved for surgery, so that he can go for that surgery. I mean, what is difficult to ask there that the federal government or the court cannot grant? The court is not saying that God will keep him, that God will not allow him to die. The lawyer who visited him have seen his condition. They have seen his medical condition that he requires a surgery. And then the court is saying that we should go to God. This is not fair. This is not right. It is not right at all, because this is a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. No matter the offense whatsoever, he's still an alleged offense. Every accused person or every suspect is presumed innocent until the contrary is proven. That is our law. But the court seems not to be projecting our laws. The court seems to be on its own flourish, and that is causing incalculable harm and damage on the citizens of this country.
Well, indeed, Evan Sufeli, I'm sorry, we need to put a pause to the conversation, but definitely many thanks for coming, and thank you very much for your insight. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has warned of a looming food scarcity in the region, which could see over 42 million people at the risk of hunger during the lean season between June and August 2023. President of ECOWAS Commission, Omar Toure, made this known in an address on the status of implementation of the community work programs during the ongoing 2023 first ordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament in Abuja. Toure says 107.5 million people in the sub-region were estimated to face food insecurity and could therefore fall into crisis in the event of shocks, notably in Nigeria, Niger Republic and Burkina Faso. He also said that the nutrition crisis persists in Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Niger and Chad, where nearly 16.5 million children under the age of 5 suffer from acute malnutrition.
Unfortunately, about 29 million people need emergency food and nutritional assistance as we speak. I'm repeating this. 29 million people in our region require emergency food and nutritional assistance in our region as we speak. If appropriate measures are not taken, this figure could rise to 42 million during the lean season between June and August 2023. Thus, ECOWAS, together with all its regional partners, SEALS, UEMOA, and the international partners, continue to provide responses to food and nutrition insecurity. And during the first quarter of 2023, especially in 7 countries, Burkina Faso, Cape Verde, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, and Chad. In addition to the use of stock from the Regional Food Security Reserve, nearly 1.1 million, or 66% of the total projected budget of 1.64 billion of the responses plan that were prepared by member states in July 2022 has been mobilized.
We'll take a break here, but still to come on News Now. UK confirms supply of Storm Shadow long-range missiles in Ukraine. We'll bring you details of the story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Presidential Election Petition Court, PEPC, sitting in Abuja on Thursday, has adjourned further proceedings on the joint petition the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar, filed to challenge the outcome of the 2023 presidential election. Just like that of Peter Obi and the Labour Party, Atiku's petition was adjourned at the instance of lawyers in the matter to enable them to put their house in order on various issues relating to the petition. We also told you that the Supreme Court has again adjourned the hearing in a suit filed by the leader of the at-large Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, until September the 14th. The Apex Court said even if it proceeds to hear the appeal, there is no space within its calendar to write and deliver the verdict within the 90-day deadline. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV. Log on to our website at www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we are TV360 Online. South Korea is set to drop its COVID-19 quarantine requirements and end testing recommendations for international arrivals starting next month after the World Health Organization declared the end of the global health emergency. In lowering the coronavirus alert level from critical to plainly alert starting June 1, health authorities will also lift mask mandates in pharmacies and small clinics, but will continue requiring mask wearing in large hospitals and long-term care facilities and other medical venues with high infection risks. We'll take a short break now and be back with more stories in business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now join Simi Saladigun for more stories in business. Simi, what's the latest?
Thank you very much, Falashade. Well, in business, the federal government says that Nigeria's oil production fell below the 1 million mark in April 2023. In its latest crude oil and condensate production data for April 2023, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission also disclosed that volume of production is at its lowest point in the last 7 months. The low oil output was attributed to challenges such as lack of investment, insecurity, amongst others. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mahmoud Abubakar, has hinted that the federal government has taken a decision to review the national dairy policy and regulatory framework. According to the minister, revamping the dairy sector also fell under the national food security policy, stressing that there was no way food security can be extricated from nutrition security. He explained that the vice president, who chairs the National Council on Nutrition, had also advocated the need for the establishment of the nutrition department in several ministries, departments and agencies.
So the purpose is not just to regulate, but also to fulfill the food and nutrition. We all know dairy product is part of nutrition for good bones, especially for kids, calcium and all the other minerals and vitamins that are in that. In addition, of course, you cannot have a good dairy product without, of course, looking at livestock. So this policy not only is to regulate that industry, but in some ways and in connection with other programs and projects and policies has also a lot to do with livestock production, which is embedded in this particular policy. Why is jointly carried out with trade and investment is also a business policy, a business in the sense that our objective is not only to achieve food and nutrition security, but to be able to produce food for ourselves and also to export, and that includes dairy products.
I will take a break here and return with a review of the stock market. To stay with us. Nigeria's equities market has recorded a further negative close of 0.09% on Thursday. Now that's 26 billion naira lost during trading, despite a positive market breadth of 22 gainers against 20 losers. Both performance indicators, that's the all-share index and market capitalization, also decreased from preceding day's high to 52,161 basis points and 28.4 trillion naira. Now, analysts had predicted dividend reinvestment and corporate actions to continue to drive interest in the banking sector ahead of Thursday. But on the contrary, Access Holdings PLC and FCM had the biggest loss of 10 naira 20 kobo, followed by FCMB Group PLC, both topping the losing chart with a combined total of 14 naira 20 kobo. Now at the close of trading, 110 equities exchanged 477 million volume of shares at over 5 billion naira in 5,539 deals. It's another mixed trading day for our select foreign stocks. Now, save for the UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones, the Japan's Nikkei traded high at 0.016%. Well, that's all on business news. Back to you now, Folashade.
Well, many thanks to Ms. La for that update. On the foreign scene, the UK has confirmed it is supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles it requested for its fight against invading Russian forces. The Storm Shadow cruise missile has a range of over 250 kilometers, according to the manufacturer. By contrast, the US supplied HIMARS missiles used by Ukraine only have a range of around 80 kilometers. The weapons will give Ukraine the best chance of defending itself, UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace has explained. In sports, the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, Sunday Dare, says FEC has approved 2.4 billion naira for the construction of a National Sports Medicine and High Performance Center at the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja. He made this known while briefing journalists at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting. He explained that the lack of scientific input into sports development over time has not helped Nigeria to reach the maximum podium performance that can be attained by athletes.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports Development presented just one memo today in Council. The memo has to do with the National Sports Medicine and High Performance Center, the construction of a high performance center at the Package B of the Moshood Abiola Stadium. Over time, in the past decades, one of the drawbacks of sports development and athletes development has been the lack of a high performance center. Global sports development practice has high performance center as a major component of conditioning its athletes. It takes your athletes beyond just raw talent to some level of sports science and precision. And lack of that scientific input into our sports development over time has not helped us to reach the maximum podium performance that can be attained by our athletes. We have seen our other athletes, particularly in Kenya, where we have something close to that, in South Africa, where we have something close to that. We see what their performances are. So we got approval of 2.4 billion naira to build within the next 3 years a National Sports Medicine and High Performance Center at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. As we speak, more than 80% of the equipment that will be needed, some of them, digital equipment, are already secured and obtained at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. What we need is to construct the specialized building where we're going to install all of this. And if this is done, the #1 high-performance center in the whole of the African continent is the one in South Africa. And if we're able to complete the one in Abuja here, that will be the second one in Africa.
And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.